Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to this other edition of Prime on My Media Prime TV. It is a special edition. We start by apologizing for the very late start to tonight's edition of the program. Our guest was caught in traffic like others in previous editions. We thank God that he made it and is in the studio with us as announced on our respective social media handle. Mr. Hiram Samuel Iyodi, considered the choice of Cameroonian young voters, is in the studio with us for a special discussion with us. So, an edition that he is going to be telling us what he plans to do with Cameroon after October 12th, because he's running for the 2025 presidential elections. In fact, he's the youngest on the race, and is going to be talking about what he captions 12 pillars to turn Cameroon's destiny around. He is also going to be telling us about what you don't know and possibly answering some of your questions since we are live. So I'm going to be expecting some questions that you have for him to clarify on them. But who is this person who wants to run as a presidential candidate for Cameroon? He is 40 years of age. In fact, the youngest. He is a chemical engineer and has held several positions in this country, which I'm going to give us towards the end of the program. Because we are late for this edition, I'm going to introduce him to you all, and we're glad to have you on Prime.
I am happy to be here despite the traffic, and I hope we have a great talk about our country and our future. Thank you for having me tonight.
We are also very happy and honored to have you on Prime for the very first time. You are young, very ambitious, because I've gone through your background. You have already planned for Cameroon for the next 40 years. I know you wrote something that spans to 2060 for Cameroon. We're going to come back to that. I did not want us to go to that because we are starting late. But many persons are really curious to know what pricked you to want to run for presidential elections at this time.
First of all, let me wish a happy back to school to all our kids from all across the country. And I have a special thought for our kids in the northwest and the southwest region who cannot attend peacefully school this day due to the lockdown. And I really hope that this will be the last year that we can live these type of situations. I have always been involved into politics. I've always loved politics. Actually, my first job, the first job that I wanted to make was politician.
Okay.
I decided later to do engineering, and as the head of a political party, the first mission, the ambition of a political party is to conquer the power in order to implement what you think about the country should be. So with firstly the MP3, the Movement for Patriotism and the People's Prosperity, the party I have been leading, we decided that despite the change of the political calendar, we should go to this election because we have a program that needed to be presented to Cameroonians. Okay,
you have a program that you want to present to Cameroonians. You have coined them around 12 pillars, which I will take you through for you to explain to our audience to understand. The first is the way you look at this country. You first want to downsize the governing structure, and also hit so hard on corruption.
We want to have a better use of Cameroonians' money. I think that as a political leader, the first responsibility that you have is to use the money that Cameroonians give to you in order to give them infrastructure and to make sure that they are safe. And when we have a look at the last, I won't say for the 3 years, but for so many years now, we can all testify that our political leaders didn't have a good use of our money. They've been spending money on for their own purpose, not on the purpose of Cameroonians. So looking at that, we need to invest into infrastructure, and the best way to do that is to reduce public expenses of our government. And the first decision we are going to make is to downsize the government from 63 members to 20 members. A country like Angola, with 14 million people, has 35 government members. So there is no need for Cameroonians to have so much person in power due to all the expenses related to their function. So is a need to have a government efficiency. As a country who is going all around so many crises, I think we should optimize the way our government is functioning.
Yeah, Mr. Iyodi, you describe your manifesto as 12 keys to liberate Cameroon.
Yeah.
Yes, what does liberation mean in practical terms for Cameroonians today?
To give back the power to our people. I think that now our country has been took over by a small group of politicians, and we should give back power to our people. So the first level of liberation is us as Cameroonian citizens. We should take the decision to take back our power. And we should not get free for those people. We should make sure that we have a government model that gives the most power at the local level, so that the decisions that are made are suited to the problem that people are facing every day.
Are you saying that Cameroon is under captivity when you say you want to liberate Cameroon?
Yes. First, captivity of our political management, and secondly, the captivity of a neo-colonial system that we are still going through. Our country, I won't go through our history, but our country has been first under German administration. After that, after Germany lost the World War I, we were put under the mandate, supervision of France and Great Britain. And since then, we never had the chance to decide on our own on how we want to operate our administration, how we want to build our economy, how we want to sustain our sovereignty. So I think that now is the time to free ourselves from this type of managing our country and our resources.
Okay, you want to take us away from the colonial masters and
from the colonial systems, because some Cameroonians are part of that system.
Yeah, I want also, how do you liberate Cameroonians from Cameroonians who are also a part of what is called a neo-colonialism?
How do
you intend to get Cameroon out of what is today described as neo-colonialism?
I should first say that you just talk about my 12 pillars. What we did first is that we had a look on the history of the ancient kingdom of Africa. And we realized that most of the things that we think that have been brought to us, we already knew them. Africa discovered science a long time ago. One of the first universities, the University of Timbuktu, was built in Africa. One of the first constitution came from Africa. So based on the history of our ancient kingdom, we analyzed that all the African philosophy relies on two main pillars: social justice and shared prosperity. And all the program we have, all our ideology is based on those two pillars, in a way that we make sure that every reform, every step we take will be only to have a better life for our citizens. So first of all, we want to give them, we talk about the form of the state, we want to give them back the power to decide on how we manage our resources, how we manage our territory, how they can control the decisions that are be taken by politician leaders.
Now, at 40, you represent a younger generation of leaders. What makes your vision different from the traditional opposition leaders we have in Cameroon that we have known?
I just turned 38. I'm not 40 yet.
Yeah, you are
I'm not 40 yet, but
you are within that range. Yeah,
I am young by the age. I won't say that I am old, but I would say I am experienced. First, by my profession, I am an engineer. I'm a general manager of an industrial company, but as I'm also a son of traditions. And I think that what I learned from tradition helped me be some kind of a proud African. I am proud of our heritage. And what makes my ideology and my political program different from the others is that we have a strong ground on African tradition and African values. As I said, Sure, we are in a world where every human are equal, but each one of us brings something specific to the table, and I think that now is the time for Africa to bring our identity on the public space and to build a governance models that bring us together. This is the main difference that I have with the other political offers.
Now, when we talk of downsizing, you're proposing to reducing the ministries from 63 to 20.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Yet, which ministries would you merge or eliminate, and how will you ensure effective service delivery?
As I said, the first goal, the main goal is to have a government efficiency.
Yes.
I will take some example. Our detailed political program will be published on Friday.
Okay.
And inside you will see the specific and the detailed structure of the government.
Okay.
In Cameroon, you have about five ministries related to education. You have basic education, you have secondary education, you have higher education, you have research, and you have vocational training.
Okay.
So all those five ministers for us are meant to be only one minister. Economy and finance should be one minister for us. Mining and energy should be one minister. And also talking about infrastructure, you have a ministry of transport, you have a ministry for road, you have a ministry for urban development. They are all a minister for grid works and infrastructure. So this is the way we've been downsizing, putting together all the ministries that has the same mission and the same type of cost. So by that, we can have a government of 20 members, which is highly efficient and cost less money to Cameroonians, so that all the economy that we can make, we can direct them to investments such as schools, such as hospitals, such as roads, which are our main priorities. So we should spend less on, I would say, the comfort and the lux of a small category of our population, and spend really more on the things that matters for everyone.
If you're watching the program and you have a question for the presidential candidate, please send it to me through the numbers on your screen. I will ask these questions to him directly. Now, you propose the demilitarization now, demilitarizing the Anglophone regions. How will you ensure civilian security if the military is taken out?
First, I want to precise that it will be a process. It won't be happening only one day. The first thing we do as I'm elected as the head of state is to go down.
We are talking about how you intend to tackle the Anglophone crisis. Yes.
Exactly. So I will go down there in the northwest and the southwest region, and our first goal is that within the first 100 days, we can find common grounds with our brothers and sisters, even those who choose the path of violence, even the secessionists. We should talk with them and convince them that within 100 days they should drop their arms. Once they've done it, we should start demilitarizing the region. I think that you cannot have a safe mental health in a territory where you see guns everywhere. So we should demilitarize the region, those two regions, and start also building back industry there, because people have to go back there. But in order to go back there, we should make sure that they will find jobs, and we should have economic activities that could encourage them to go back there. So demilitarizing is a process, but the first step is to free all the political prisoners, and then have, as I said, common ground with the secessionists to make sure that within 100 days they will drop their arms.
Okay. You talk about inclusive dialogue. What do you mean by inclusive dialogue? Who are those to sit on the table with President-elect Iyodi? Who is going to be talking with you on the table?
First, let me say that as Cameroonians, as I said before, we never decide on the type of the state we want and how we want to structure and manage our resources. And I want to give us, for the first time in our history, the chance to decide by ourselves. So I was talking about the first 100 days. Within the dialogue will only happen in the northwest and the southwest regions. After those first 100 days, in the first trimester of 2026, we will have a dialogue at the subdivision level all around the country, with all the representative of all walks of our life, coming from the civil society organization, the community organization, the social professional categories. We will have them give their recommendation about how our country should function, about the equilibrium between the executive, the judiciary, the legislative system, about the form of the states, about the form of the government, about how they can control the action that have been, the decision that have been made by political leaders. So first trimester at the subdivision level, the second trimester we have a talk at the division level, and the third trimester at the regional level, to make sure that by October 2026 we will hold a national conference sovereigns that will adopt a constitution that has been drafted through the proposition made by Cameroonian citizens.
Yeah, because I was going to ask that the 2026 you are hoping to have a sovereign national conference and 2027 referendum.
Yeah.
They are central to your plan. What concrete reforms should Anglophones expect from these two events?
I think that the first will be the form of the state.
Okay.
We had a national dialogue in 2020, and as you've noticed, that point has been put out aside the debate, and I think that is a crucial question, specifically for the Anglophone, but for all Cameroonians. We all want a state where we make sure that we hold our power as citizens. So the first discussion will be on the form of the state. Personally, I am advocating for a federalism, but I also think that this question is so sensitive that not only one political party should take the decision, even if he wins the presidential election. That's why I think that by going through a national conference, we will just make sure that all Cameroonians gave their opinions on how we have to organize our life together. So this will be the main goal of this national conference. Also our electoral systems, which is not that transparent. We should also talk about all the reform to make sure that we can have now a strong democracy that gives all the same chances to all our citizens.
Mr. Hiram Samuel Iyodi, do you get the stories told about who you are working for the government, and all of this? You are young, but you are unperturbed.
Transition and try to aware people with all what is going on in the Anglophone regions. I've been in 2018 the political program coordinator of
that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
That many persons who are watching this program are not aware that you were very involved with the Now movement that actually carried up the barrister Kere Muna for the 2018 presidential elections. What was your role?
Not only the Now movement. First, I talk about Stand Up for Cameroon, where I worked for, I think, 4 to 5 years. In the Now movement, I was the political program coordinator. So I was the one who supervised the drafting of the political program that Barrister Kere Muna present to Cameroonians during the last presidential election. I also worked building the coalition between Barrister Kere Muna and Professor Maurice Kamto in the last presidential election. So I've been involved in politics for many years, and I think that by doing a small research online, you can just find everything I've been doing, everything I've been advocating for the last 20 years. Okay.
I wanted also to bring this up
to
clarify our audience who only trying to link you to the CPDM, not knowing that you have been a part of the Stand Up for Cameroon movement, as well as the Now movement of Barrister Kere Muna. You were very involved with his actions during the 2018 presidential elections, and that the MP3 movement that you are leading has also been very, very active on the political scene. Many persons may not just be aware, but you also were very engaged in calling on Cameroonians to register.
On the electoral rules.
But let's get back to the Anglophone crisis. Many victims seek justice, not just peace. How will you balance truth, accountability, and reconciliation in resolving the crisis?
I think we should set up a national reconciliation platform.
Okay.
specifically for the Anglophone crisis, but not only. You know, I am a grandson of people we are used to call maquisards in this country. My two grandfather was involved with the UPC for our independence, and we are still grieving for so many things in the Sanaga Maritime, but also in the West regions for all that happened in those regions during the independence. And I think that we should have, as a people, a transparent talk about all what happened. We should bring to justice those we have to be, but we should also talk to help people get a peace of mind and try to reconcile our people with our history. So I think that is something that is important, and we really need it. We need to go back from the 1940s and 50s and try to say the truth to the Cameroonian people, and it's the only way that we can move forward looking to the same direction.
You say you hold so strong to tradition and culture. You want, what makes you different from the other political party leaders is the fact that you want to take us back to our roots. That is, we should truly be Africans. That is what, if I get what, yes. What are we missing out, not playing, not holding strong to our culture and tradition?
Still depending on the way other people think. Now we have more and more TV and media owned by Cameroonians. It's a good thing. For so many years, we have been only influenced by what other people show to us. We dress like the others, we talk like the others. So we spend money like the others, and we buy their economy. By bringing back our culture, our dignity, our proudness, I think that we can build strong Cameroonian patriots. That in each way we always first looking for the benefits of our citizenship. So this is the main thing it would help us doing, build citizens that love Cameroon, that work for Cameroon, and that not get so easily influenced by decisions made by the others. And that would be the leader of our economy, the leader of our political life. Okay,
so if you have questions for the presidential candidate who is my guest tonight, please just send the questions to me. I'll put them through to him, and I'm sure he's ready to answer them. Good evening, Mr. Liu, the presidential hopeful. This is Mr. Keka Fred from Boya. What plans has the candidate towards strengthening the private sector such that youths can shift from the over-dependence on government recruitment? What practical plans do you have in the back to defeat corruption? What plans in place to guarantee health care that is of quality, accessible? What form of state do you have on your agenda?
I think I respond to of the questions about the corruption and the form of the state. He was talking about the healthcare. And the
private sector.
The private sector. The private sector. I would talk about our economy the same way I would talk about our mindset, the same way I would talk about our educational system. Those are all colonialism heritage. We have an economy structure in a way that we sell all our raw materials to other countries, to foreign countries, and after we buy, we import all we need. This type of structuration doesn't give us the power to build a strong industrial complex that will help us provide job opportunity for Cameroonians. So our decision is to ban the exportation of our raw materials, mainly agricultural and mining materials, so we can keep them in Cameroon and use them in all our division to build specific industrial complex that will help us strengthen our economy and multiply job opportunities for Cameroonians. I know that it's a difficult situation to be made, but it's important. When you look at the world, the most powerful countries are the country that has the strongest industries. So industries is the way to strengthen the power of Cameroon and to make sure that we can have jobs for our young people and also more revenues for our state in order to build our infrastructures. Talking about the healthcare, I was talking about the healthcare. We have, I think it's 5,000 billion plan for the next 7 years to strengthen our our health policy.
Okay.
First, to make sure that maternity is free for all women, all Cameroonian women in our public hospitals. We also want to raise the density of medical. You know, in Cameroon you have one generalist for 10,000 people, and we want to bring it to one generalist from 5,000 people, and also to build 50 regional hospitals in our country for about 1,050 billion CFA francs for the next 7 years. So our main plan is first, make sure that people have healthcare, but also that medical doctor have all the infrastructure they need to take care of our people.
Okay, so many questions there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to ask him some questions. My name is Hamza Idrisu, writing from Bamenda. My question is this: if he finally wins the election, which region will he visit first, and how can he solve the Anglophone crisis? We already talked about that.
I can say the first region I will visit will be the center, because I have to take power in Yaoundé.
Okay.
But as I said, I will appoint the first minister, and we will have our first visit, our first minister cabinet in the northwest or the southwest.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Shom Iranius Bishop, writing from Mile 4 Nkwen in Bamenda. My friends and I did our voters' cards because we want change and would like to support Mr. Hiram Samuel during the presidential elections. We are young and ages between 18 to 30. Please ask him how we can get in touch so we show him what we have been doing. It means they have been mobilizing already to vote for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. There are young people in Bamenda. So how do they get to you?
I will say to Bishop, thank you for his support. He can go on our website, iram2025.cm, and there is a button to register. He has a form. He can fill it in 2 minutes, and someone will contact him.
Yeah, but do we have a number, maybe a WhatsApp group where people
maybe
can easily?
I can give you after, because I don't have it in mind. Yeah.
Yes, it's okay. I'll just ask at the end of the program those who intend to join your movement to write me, and I'll just share a link. You share you share that link with me towards the end of the program so that I can share with them. Good evening,
the
Mr.
link and the phone number too. Okay.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Please, Mr. Kum, Leonard asks Mr. Iyodi, as a candidate for the presidential race, what he thinks about a coalition with other opposition parties that have the same ideology like his. By Ndika Alfred, your follower in Ekondo Titi. Okay. This one says, please ask Mr. Hiram Samuel Iyodi what specific policies does he plan to implement to reduce unemployment and support job creation, particularly in sectors most affected by economic changes. Jibrila Aban watching from Douala. Okay, we are going to get back to these questions. Just keep them coming.
First, about the economy, I just explained how I think that industrialization can be the way to have more job opportunities in Cameroon. So, yes, I don't recall the last question, the first question.
Some of them are questions we had
the
already
coalition. Excuse me. It was about the coalition.
Okay.
Thank you. I worked for the coalition in 2018, so I can say that I know pretty much about how it works, and I am still talking. As you said, I'm the youngest candidate, so I took upon myself to take the time to try to reach all the older 10 candidates from the opposition. I think I've already met half of them. We have strong conversation. I'm pretty much positive that we can find common grounds. And as the question was asked, the first point for us is to have a convergence of our political program. So I am working on it with some of them, and I expect that before the official opening of the campaign, we can have a great announcement to the Cameroonian people. Okay,
I hope that is clear. For as far as coalition is concerned, he is working with others. Now, you promise a free health care for all children up to age 10 and financial support for families at birth. How will you sustainably finance these programs?
We have about 1 million births in Cameroon every year. The allowance for birth is 50,000 per birth, and we have about 215,000 CFA franc for each maternity. So the global budget for one birth is about 300,000. if you multiply by a 1 million bird per year, you have an envelope of about 300 billion CFA francs. We can reach it only by reducing the expenses of the government. With the reducing of the downsizing of the government, with reducing what we are spending on cars, on housing, on oil and gas, we can have an economy of about 1 billion CFA francs per year, and 300 billion of those 1,000 will be allocated to support the Cameroonian women who gave birth to the children we need to build a strong economy and a strong country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I hope that satisfies you guys. Teachers and healthcare workers often strike over poor pay. That is no news to us.
Yeah.
What urgent steps would you take to motivate and also retain them?
We expect to double the salary within the next 7 years. I know it won't be enough.
Salaries for teachers and...
For both of them.
Okay.
For both of them. We can do more than that due to the public debt that the Cameroon has. Mm-hmm. But I think that will be the first good step. And also we have a bonus for those who accept to go in the rural areas. Mm-hmm. I know that some of our teachers and health workers feel like when they are affected in those regions, they feel like this is a discipline decision, and we will try to make sure that by the bonus we will give them, they will have the same condition in those areas to make sure that all Cameroonians have the same quality of education and the same quality of healthcare. So the main decision will be to double their salary gradually within the next 7 years.
Yeah, but lots and lots of persons are also working with the private sector,
yeah,
both at the health and educational sectors, and the working conditions are pretty precarious.
Sometimes it's best done in the public sector.
Yes, but do you have a special policy to look into how they are treated in the private sector?
Yeah, I would say that first, that most of the workers from education and health working on the private sector, some of them are also functioning, they're working in the public sector.
Yeah.
So the decision we made for all of us to have a base of salaries that will be double during the next 7 years. So I think that it will affect both those working on the private and those also working on the public sector.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You plan to remove presidential control over the judiciary.
Yeah.
Do you find a problem with that?
Yeah.
As it's
in
today?
In Cameroon, the President of the Republic is the President of the Judiciary Council. He appoints the General Secretary of the National Assembly. He appoints the General Secretary of the Senate. He doesn't show any or give any independence to the judiciary and the legislative power. So we need to move forward. I think that magistrates, they are enough mature to make decisions for themselves. We should remove not only the presidents, but also the Minister of Justice from the Magistrates Council and let them decide by themselves on how they want to organize their corporation.
Okay. One phenomenon that is actually very common today is this burning desire driving Cameroonian youth out of Cameroon. Yeah. Almost everybody we see them dying in the desert. We see them actually struggling through the mountains in Latin America, trying to enter the United States of America. We see some videos coming from Asia, especially in these Arab states where our sisters are not doing so well. Are you concerned about that? How do we tend to fix that?
I am concerned, but on the other side, I understand them.
Okay.
When you feel like you don't have any hope in your country, you don't have any job opportunities, despite the fact that you have diplomas, you try to find a better life for you and your family abroad. So I understand them. Just what I can tell them is that Africa is the future and Cameroon is the future. Okay. We will have, by 2050, 2 billion people in the continent. We have 50 million people in Cameroon. Those population will need food, they will need energy, they will need clothes, and all of that will be developed through a strong industry based on our resources. If we all fly out of Cameroon, we will leave our country empty, and other people will come here and colonize us one more time. So we should have hope. And I know that we broke the link between the government and the people, and we should build it back. And we can only build back by transparency. So my words won't be enough to tell Cameroonians not to go away. I think that by building a transparent democratic system that give the same chances to all Cameroonians, we help them come back, and I hope they will come back.
Okay, you also, are you concerned with what is happening? So many foreigners buying lands, engaging in other petty trade in Cameroon, you taking up jobs that normally should be for Cameroonians. Are you concerned about that? How do you make sure that Cameroonians that are engaging in industrialization, because you see that is going to be a strong point for your government.
Yeah.
How do you empower Cameroonians who are engaging in this not to face unfair competition from guys who are coming out of Cameroon, because they're coming with heavier capital? You
now understand what you asked me about, how tradition and cultural heritage can change our minds. It helps us having less complex when we talk to each other. It's not normal that in our country, foreigners have more facilities doing business than Cameroonians. We should change it. Officially in Cameroon, foreigners doesn't have access to land. I am, as you, surprised to see that some of them have strong building in our country. We encourage them. We need them in economic partnership to build our economy. But first, we will make sure that the Cameroonian investors are the first one having all the opportunities regarding building our industrial sector. So those are decisions that have to be made in every country. You put first your citizens, because they are the one paying taxes, and they should be ahead of any other. So first, I say to them, remain here. I know it's difficult, but it's our country. We only have one country. Despite all we've been going through for so many years, I still think that with our resources we can build a strong Cameroon, giving to the quality of our human resources. So as the head of the state, I will make sure that I protect them and I gave them the priority and everything they are making for us.
Okay. You also are proposing the transforming prisons into reintegration centers. Can you explain how this would function in practice?
In practice, we will have a unit production linked to each prison.
Okay.
And we will use the prisoners as a labor force. It will be for them a way to pay their debt for the society.
Okay.
They will be paid 20% on the level of they who have gone if they were outside the prison. And then they will also learn a job that will help facilitate their social reintegration after going through prison. So our way of thinking is that we have to use, we are a country with so much potential and so much challenges. So we have to use all the resources we have to build our country. And I think that just putting people in prison, they are just sleeping, and we have to pay for them because it's our taxes. They are taking care of those prisoners. We should put them at work to help building our economy.
You also intend to ban raw material exports.
Yeah, that's what I talk about, my economic philosophy, my economic model. Industry is the foundation of power, and we intend to build a strong and a powerful Cameroon.
Yes.
And for that, we need to keep our resources in our country.
But how will you balance this with the need to attract investors?
We will attract investors. We just tell them that despite selling them our raw materials, they should just came and install their plant in Cameroon. Cameroon has a high quality cocoa. We should have at least 10 chocolateries in our country. We only have one, the one for Chococam and one private. So the talk or the discourse we will have with and with the border we have with countries like Nigeria, that will be soon to 250 million people. I think that Cameroon has to be the factory that will provide food for this strong economy.
Okay, I'll take some questions from those who are watching us. Good evening to you guys in the studio. Please ask Mr. Hiram Samuel, what will he do the government workers that come to work late if he is elected? If he is elected, Raymond Star is writing from Boya. I'm sure he's talking about the work culture in Cameroon.
Yeah, we should just be rigorous and more sanctioned to those who don't respect the works. Because public workers, they are being paid with the taxes of Cameroonian people. We should shift the German, and they should realize that first, their work is to be at the service of the citizen. And if you are paid to be 8 hours at work every day, you should come at time. So we make sure, first of all, by downsizing the government from 63 to 20 members, I think we have more way of controlling the works that is being doing by our public workers.
Okay, and you look at the nature of our cities.
Yeah.
Take Yaoundé.
Yeah.
Take Douala. Are you very comfortable?
I'm not.
Is there a blueprint that you are discussing with your team on how to transform these cities?
This is where federalism can help.
Okay.
Because you have 3 steps of decision making. The first step is
you're going to the form of the state already.
Yeah, because the form of the state will solve the quality of our cities.
Okay.
When you have a mayor that can have all the resources, that can collect taxes and have all the power to have a partnership with Cameroonians operators or with foreign operators, he can make the decision about how we can organize the public spaces, talking about removing the garbage, talking about the roads, talking about the cultural espace you have to build in the way that our children can have space to learn, activities to play. I think that the only solution is that building the cities doesn't have to come from the top of the government. Okay. This is a decision that has to be made by the mayor. So this is the only way to solve this problem. If all the resources are collected by Yaoundé, and then Yaoundé has to decide what they will send to each city, we still have those problems of insalubrity with all our cities.
So you are going to, in Cameroon, implement federalism.
Yeah.
And in this federalism, how do we get persons? Because even Nigeria is a federal state, but we still have very corrupt officials in Nigeria. How do we get corruption, a vice that is actually crippling our economy? We
have corruption in Nigeria, but I think that Nigeria economy is way better than our own. There is no country with zero corruption. The first thing we do is that we need to apply the Article 66 of our Constitution regarding the declaration of assets of all those who are in position of power, all those who are managing Cameroonians' money. That would be the first thing. The second thing is that we will create a special task force to fight against corruption that will have the power to retrieve the funds and the assets that will be embezzled by public politicians. So this is the way we can make sure that we have, first, by declaring your asset, we know exactly what you had before going into power, and we know what you have when you leave, so we can make a strong comparison. And if you have stole money from Cameroonians, you will just be brought before justice. And as I said, we have a strong task force that will make sure that we can retrieve money that has been stolen by those who manage our money.
Okay. Any special policy that is going to encourage or empower many more women to engage in either politics and decision-making spheres?
Yeah. In politics, we already have a law that asks for political party running to election to have a representation of gender. We move forward by adopting a quota of at least 40% to make sure that in our local council, in the National Assembly, we can have at least 40 women represent them. Also talking about business, you know that most of our agricultural business are held by women, and we have special facilities in terms of taxes to encourage them to be more active in the agricultural sector, and we have how can I say it? Let me say in French, une exonération des impôts, tax exemptions, excuse me, tax exemption for the first 5 years for businesses that have been managed by women. Yeah.
Okay. And good evening. I'm Tabe Dylan Ayuk. Please, I wish to find out what are the strategies he has put in place to combat the Anglophone problems, to remove the old system which is in place, because we know the clique is very strong. How is he going to handle the issues of roads in Cameroon? At least you've talked about the rest, but issue of roads, yeah.
Issue of roads is the same as issue of cities, is the same as issue of energy.
Okay.
We should just give more power to the municipalities and to the region. We have a federalism in 3 steps, as I said.
Okay.
The municipality will be responsible for local development. The regions will be responsible to build infrastructure, and they will be the one having all the resources to build roads and to build infrastructure to produce and to distribute energy. So we won't need to have a decision coming specifically from the head of the state. We will have a president of the region who will be fully empowered to make all decisions regarding infrastructure.
You actually are against new colonialism.
Yeah.
You want us to cut that bond that is still holding African nations. What are those bold steps that you intend to engage to make Cameroon truly independent?
The first thing, we should empower our citizens,
okay,
so they have a hold on their political leaders,
okay,
and they make sure that all the political decisions that will be made will be take towards their interest. That's the first thing. And you can only do that by reforming the educational system. We should have an educational system that teaches us about the real history of our people, of the people that made the Cameroonian nation of today, that help us know how we come to this territory, where we were coming from, what are our values, our identity, and that could teach us also our history of winning. Because when they talk about us, they only talk about the last 4 centuries where we were slaves and we were under the colonization. So that's the first thing, is the reform of the educational system to make sure that it gives more mental strength and more mental power to our citizens. The second thing I talk about, that the power is firstly economic power. And to build economic power, you need to have strong industry. So the decision will be made is to ban the export of our raw materials to make sure that they are the laying foundation for a strong industry. And also about talking about the currency, I think that is the main symbol of the colonialism. We still have a colonial currency in Cameroon, and we should find a way to get out of, to liberate ourselves from the CFA franc.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Mr. Samuel, tell Mr. Samuel that did he have representatives all over the polling stations in Cameroon? Because all what he's saying will require that they go through, work with another party, except he is with the presidential majority. And Mr. Masoma, writing from Bonaberi, Mr. Hiram has already said he is discussing with other political parties. They are in talks and hopes that...
But talking about the vote surveillance, I just want to have a word. We built a numeric application that can help us gather the vote the day of the election, and we are working with civil society organizations to make sure that we have representatives all around the country. So our strategy is not only based on the militants of the CDF or the MP3, but also about all the youth that wants to get involved and make sure that the results will be the truth of what Cameroonian people decided.
Yes, it looks like there was an election monitoring system that was it you presented in Douala?
Yeah.
Yes, can we...
We present it again in Yaoundé
Yes.
next Friday. As I said, is a numeric system that help us gather in a real time the result of the votes.
Okay.
We have representative in every polling station with the cooperation, the collaboration we have with civil society organizations, and each of those representatives has a identity number linked to the platform, and he just have to scan the results, and we can compile the results and make sure that the same day by 10 to 11 p.m. we know exactly who won the presidential election.
Okay, so that is what is in the pipeline. They are not sleeping. And also to go through Cameroon in that's we're talking about 2 weeks for campaigns.
Yeah, sure.
The structure is already put in place so far for your party.
The structure for campaigning.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm not waiting the official launch of the campaign, because as you know, in 40 days you cannot go all around the country. So I've started to move around. By the end of the week, I'll be in some villages in the central region. Next week, I hope I'll be in the southwest. I'll be in 10 days in the north region. So we are moving. We need to go down on the grassroots to meet with our representatives in all the regions, to give them the power to campaign for us. So I hope that by October 12th, we have gone all across the 10 regions of Cameroon.
Now, you raised the issue of the France CFA.
Yeah.
You see, that is the core symbol of colonialism. We still are using the France CFA. What measures would you put in place to protect citizens from inflation and economic shocks during that transition, if we were to move out of it?
First, moving out, exiting from the CFA is a process that we think we can achieve within 10 years. Okay. The first thing is that we will denounce the monetary agreements that gave birth to this currency, and we will immediately start discussion and talks with our neighboring countries of the CEMAC to see how we can have a common budgetary policies that will help us getting out of this CFA franc. We will also introduce a numeric and digital currency of transition during the time, to make sure our goal is that by 2030 we can issue our own money. We have two ways of I would say anticipating the shock. The first thing is the industry. As I said, if you start building a strong industry, we will reverse the trade balance and make sure that we sell more than what we buy. This is the first goal, and we have 3 to 4 years to reverse the trade balance. The second thing, we start building a gold reserve of 3 tons per year, to make sure that by 2035 we will have 30 tons, and those two pillars will be enough to start going out of the CFA franc. But immediately there are some things we can do. We should not accept that 65 years after our independence, we still have foreign countries that have seats in the board of our central bank. I think that this is something we should ban as soon as I am elected as the head of the state.
Okay, you suggest limiting land ownership to 2 hectares per person. How did you respond to critics who argue that this would discourage agri-business investment?
Not really. First, I want to say that land equity is one of the pillars of African philosophy. Okay. We don't look at land as a personal possession. We look at land as a gift of nature that we should use to settle down, to build our families. We are living in a capitalism model with a financial system that finance the land guarantee, that does not finance the business. And in that way, I understand what people are afraid about, what I am advocating for. But what we are saying is that for personal use, we need to limit access to land, because soon we will be in a country where 10% of the population own 19% of the land, and that will lead us to the land conflict. But we are talking about personal use. For business use, for agricultural use, we have two types of land. In a land owned by the state, and a type of land whose management will be given to the local communities. And if you want to have a business, you can sign a concession or an operating contract for 20, 30, 40 years, either with the state or either with the local community, in order to operate the land for your businesses. This is how we see things. We are not seeing things as a capital system where we have small group of people that will own all the land, and this is something we have to anticipate for.
We have to anticipate. Almost everybody wants to lead Cameroon. It's encouraging Cameroonians to love agriculture, to embrace agriculture, because it is considered the backbone of so many economies. What is the policy that you, as a young person, is putting in place to help attract young people into the sector?
The first thing that we will multiply professional training centers for agriculture.
Okay.
I know that I'm talking about strong economic measures that will only give results after 3 to 4 years, and all these Cameroonians that are coming out of our university, they won't wait 4 years to have a job. So we multiply at the local level a professional center that will give a small program of 3 to 6 months that can certify, that can give strong certification in leading or managing agricultural projects, and encourage most of the people to go back to our rural areas, make sure that the land is available to everyone, and just supervise all the activities to make sure that agriculture become again the backstone of our industry and the backstone of our economy.
Ok, good evening, sir. Je vous suis depuis Boya. J'ai une question pour le candidat Hiram Samuel. Elle est la suivante. Comment envisagez-vous l'avenir du pays dans 5, 10 ou 20 ans? Quelle est votre vision à long terme?
Yeah,
I'm not sure you want to be president for 20 years.
I'm not sure, but I will, as he asked in French, ma vision du Cameroun, je l'ai dit, c'est un Cameroun puissant. Parce que je pense que c'est dans notre ADN. Nous sommes un pays de puissance. Le Cameroun a été l'un des seuls pays sur le continent africain qui s'est battu pour son indépendance. Nous avons donné notre sang pour que le Cameroun soit indépendant. Les autres pays africains en ont profité. Le Cameroun a été l'UPC, qui a été le parti indépendantiste. C'était l'un des premiers adhérents au RDA, qui était la première organisation panafricaine, politique panafricaine. Donc je pense que nous devons reprendre notre rôle de leader sur la scène panafricaine. Je n'ai pas pour ambition de rester au pouvoir pendant 20 ans. Mais sur les 5 prochaines années, 2 objectifs, je crois qu'on en a parlé. Le premier, c'est la transformation économique. On doit avoir un pays qui est fort parce qu'il a un tissu industriel qui permet de nourrir ses habitants et de donner des opportunités d'emploi à ses populations. Sous 10 ans, l'objectif principal sera celui de la souveraineté. Il faudrait qu'on soit sorti du franc CFA et qu'on ait redonné à nos populations le pouvoir sur la prise de décision à l'échelle locale. Et si vous me demandez sur 20 ans, ce sera qu'on soit l'un des leaders, l'un des top 5 pays leaders économiques sur le continent africain. Voilà comment est-ce que je vois la construction de notre pays sur les 5, 10 et 20 prochaines années.
Okay. I hope that you are very satisfied with his answer. I will take 1 or 2 from you guys who are watching before we continue. Greetings to Mr. Liu and Mr. President in some countries. Greetings to Mr. Liu and Mr. President. In some countries, citizens who are capable and wealthy enough are allowed to make some good developments in the country, like tarring of roads and other facilities that benefit the country. If you become the president of this nation, would you permit citizens to do such development?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will, and I still don't understand how it's not allowed in Cameroon. And this is part of the federalism.
Okay.
Giving the power to the local administration, and they can give access to every Cameroonian who wants to help, who want to build roads. We can also give them some tax facilities in regards to the works they have been doing to help the states build up its infrastructure. And for sure, I will allow Cameroonians to help us strengthen our infrastructure in terms of roads, in terms of energy. Energy is another matter. I still don't understand that with all the sources we have in our country, we still have to wait a decision coming from Yaoundé in order to build a small barrage in our water river in our villages.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and your guest in the studio, the presidential candidate. I'm Robert, watching the program from Boya. I am inspired by Mr. Hiram Samuel Iyodi's program, if elected president of this beloved country that is being looted by corrupt leaders, reduction of ministries from 63 to 20 would be a wonderful milestone to cut down government expenditures by at least 70%. This is convincing enough to canvass for enough votes from youth, women, and teachers whose plight shall be prioritized. How will you make this happen when almost all Cameroonians are contaminated by the old corrupt system? Transparency, quality leadership, and accountability won't be possible in a corrupt society. How would you fight corruption in your government?
I talk a bit about corruption, and I think that we have to have strong leadership. That's all that matters. Cameroonians became corrupt because we have a corrupt leadership. I think I didn't live under President Iyodi, but from what I heard, when you were in charge, you were afraid of taking a loan. When you were a minister under Iyodi, you were afraid of taking a loan of only 5 million francs, because you know that he will have asked you where you get the money from. So we should have a strong leadership with people that have moral values, that have integrity, and that can lead us to come back to a fair and transparent society.
Okay. Good evening to you both in the studio. I'm Obi Rigobel Ayuk, watching from Boya. Good evening to all of you watching us from the Southwest region and the Northwest region and across Cameroon. Ask Mr. Hiram the place he has for Cameroonians in the diaspora, especially with regards to the issue of dual nationality. Equally ask him the place he has for persons with disabilities in his government policy.
I am totally in favor of dual nationality. I think that this is something that was put in place in 1968 with a specific context where President Iyodi thought that the diaspora was the foundation of the independentist movement. We are in 2025, 65 years after our independence. We need to let our brothers and sisters abroad feel like they are Cameroonians like the others. But we will restrain the dual nationality from some position of the country. The president, the members of the government, the members of the National Assembly should only have one nationality. But we don't only remain on the matter of the nationality. We also need to bring, I would say, together all the skills that the diaspora have. So we will build a platform specifically for scientific sectors, health and digital and numeric, a platform that will help us benefit from the experience of those Cameroonians abroad. Also, a special policy that will encourage some of them who are retired to come back to Cameroon and to serve to 5 to 10 more years to help us benefit from their experience. We also build a funds, investment funds, leading by the diaspora to help financing our public infrastructures.
Mr. Hiram, you studied in Cameroon. I also know that you studied out of Cameroon.
Yeah, I studied in Cameroon, in Douala, for the secondary school. I spent a bit of time in University of Boya, where I studied chemistry, and then I went to Canada to study chemical engineering.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with our system of education? Yeah.
I'm not. I think that our system of education, once again, was designed towards the need of the colonial empire. Now we have great challenges. We have challenges of industry, we have challenges of building infrastructure, and we have two systems, an Anglophone system and a Francophone system. And my reform is to merge those systems into one perfectly bilingual systems that will be oriented towards specifically the STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, to strengthen our technical skills so that a Cameroonian children at 18 years old coming out of the secondary school could have all the skill he needs to find directly a job if he doesn't have the mean or the need to go to university. So we have a strong reform on the educational systems.
What would explain the fact that almost everybody is talking about entrepreneurship today, but Cameroon is...
I think because the state failed.
Okay.
And when the state failed, he just have a strong communication about telling us that if we don't have a job, it's because we didn't find a way to create our own job. You cannot have an entrepreneur ecosystem without a strong industrial ecosystem, because the industries are the one creating the needs that will be fulfilled by the SMEs.
Okay.
So first, we have to build up strong infrastructure, strong economic taxes policies that will encourage Cameroonians and foreigners to invest in our country, so that we should have strong industry that will help us have SMEs in logistics, in digital, in advisory, that will help building those industries. So the solution is not to tell people to create the job. When they will create the job, how are they making sure that those small companies will have contracts if we don't have a bigger company that can give contract to them?
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Thank you for inviting our future president. Please, I wish to ask Mr. President that how is he going to deal with the issue of salary of private companies and their employers and general employment, including nurses and teachers? I'm Dennis, writing from Bomono. I'm sure you answered that already.
I did.
Yeah. Good evening to you both in the studio. I'm Obi. I'm sure I asked that question already, but we were talking about our system of education, and you think that we should move away from what obtains today. Are you saying that most of what we hear about entrepreneurship is not going to serve a purpose if a strong economic industrial ecosystem is not constructed?
Yeah. First, you're talking about entrepreneurship. What are the skills that those entrepreneurs have? That's the first question we should ask ourselves. As I said, even if they have the right skills, when they create a company, how are we making sure that those companies can have access to contracts? Our economy is not enough dynamic to make sure that it can sustain a strong SMEs ecosystem. So we have to do it step by step, and as I said, the first step is the economic policies we are putting in place, just to make sure that those young people creating company will have contracts, because we have industry that can provide contract to them.
Okay. You also propose, but concerning the land issue you talked about, if land management returns to local communities,
part of the land management.
Yes, but how will you prevent elite capture and corruption? Because it is the community that should manage its land. But amongst community members, there are some top guys who may.
You cannot have any more
above
elite capture, because you cannot have about 2 hectares.
Okay.
If an elite wants a land, he signs a contract with the community to use the land for a specific object and a specific time. This is the way to make sure that everyone has the same access to land.
Okay. You were in Senegal.
Yeah, I was in Senegal, I think 1 month ago. And I know where you want to go.
Yeah, because you are proposing the repatriation of the remains of late President Amadou Ahidjo. Why do you consider this act important for national reconciliation today?
But first of all, the main job of the third president would be to build our national reconciliation. As I said, I'm a grandson of UPC leaders, and I know that some members, even in my family, don't follow me on that decision, because they don't understand why I am supporting the repatriation of the remains of someone that helped kill my grandparents. But I think that's at some point we have to move forward. And a great nation cannot accept that its first presidents remain abroad. I think that is not honoring the Cameroon. So it's something we need to do. But we not only work on bringing the remains of President Iyodi back, we also working on giving to our heroes, the one who fight for our independence, okay, their place on our public spaces by decolonizing our street names, our public infrastructure name. We should not have any more in Cameroon Avenue Kennedy or Avenue Charles de Gaulle. We should have Avenue John Gofoncha. We should have Avenue Ruben Umyobe. We should have a medical school named after Félix Roland-Moumier, an economic school named after Osinde Afana. So it's not only about President Iyodi, it's really about giving all those people who fight for our country, who help building our country, the place they deserve in our public space.
Yeah, what is that going to change?
It will change the mind of our children. When you take a taxi every day and you said, I'm going to Ruben Umyobe place, at some point you start asking, who is Ruben Umyobe? And when you tell the story of those who help building the nation, you help building the next generation of patriots. When you go to other countries, it's exactly for those reasons. You have Avenue George Washington in the center of the U.S. So we should build a national story, a national, I would say, storytelling about the people who gave their life, so that there should be a source of inspiration for all our children. We need to be the leaders of Cameroon of tomorrow.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm watching live from Bafoussam. I'm Professor Shimbom. Please, I wish to ask the presidential candidate how he is going to manage the situation of lay private teachers with poor salaries imposed by proprietors.
Let's talk about that.
Yes, but are you going to also the situation, the learning situation of students, precarious in most of these schools in town?
Yeah.
You go to Yaoundé, you go to Douala and other cities. How are you going to make sure that schools actually befitting provide enough enabling environment for our kids to sit down and acquire the skills and the knowledge you're talking about there? Because it looks like just anybody creates anything without consideration for where the children will.
First thing is linked to the reduction of public expenditures,
okay,
in general, because the economy will be made by reducing this expenditure. Will help us allocate resources to 4 priority sectors. The first one is education, the second one is health, the third one is road, and the fourth one is energy. So first of all, we try to make those economy and take those funds, reallocate to the president of the regions, who will have the responsibility to make sure that we have good quality of school and good quality of hospital. So this is the way we are going to make sure that in all our subdivision or all our division, we have the same standard of school and healthcare system.
Okay, which is okay. Going to whether the private sector, the standard should be the same.
It should be the same.
Okay.
Should be the same.
So
generally, the private sector is above, but the standard, the base standard should be the same.
You advocate, dual nationality that you are advocating for. How is that going to change the dynamics?
First of all, it will help us send a signal to all our brothers and sisters that they should feel at home. They should not have to pay a visa. You should not have to pay a visa to go back to your country. It's not something normal. And I think that it will give a sign of what we want to do with them. I think it would open their minds, and we can now start a conversation about their contribution. Not only the financial contribution, as I said before, their skill contribution to help build. I just talked about the reform of the educational systems. We will need more and more skills and intelligence to help us given all the new curricula regarding the STEM. And I think that Diaspora can be a huge resources of Cameroon, of Cameroonians that know how we can build efficiently our educational and our economic system.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. I'm the Nerissa, watching live from Bamenda. Thank you for hosting Mr. Hiram. I'd like to find out how he intends to merge the private sector of education with the private sector. I'm sure you want to say the public sector, considering that someone with a Bachelor of Technology finds it challenging to pursue a master's degree in public universities without first obtaining an academic degree.
I will not merge the private sector with the public sector. We just have one common educational system with the same curricula. Just that we have some schools that are owned by the government and some schools that are owned by private investors, but it will be exactly the same educational systems. Making sure that our goal, as I said before, is that a Cameroonian aged 18 years old coming out of the secondary school should have all the skills needed to find immediately a job.
Greetings to you at the studio. I'm a student from the University of Boya, writing from Tico. My question to the presidential candidate goes like this: what comprehensive strategy would you implement to address the ongoing crisis in Cameroon's Anglophone regions, promote national unity, protect human rights, and ensure sustainable development and security? We discussed about that at the beginning of the program already. So I'm sure, I don't know whether you want to talk about Anglophone crisis again.
I think I said what mattered the most is that this crisis is the result of a government that chose not to discuss and not to talk with its people, not to listen to their frustrations. And the only way to solve this crisis is going through a dialogue, is going through putting everyone at the same table and make sure that we find common ground. As I said, I can say it again, first we need to release all the political prisoners, and after that our goal is that within the first 100 years of me being as head of state, that we have a strong common solution that will help us, those who choose the path of violence to drop their arms so we can start demilitarizing those regions. And after 1 year after taking in charge, we hold the National Conference Sovereigns with the goal of adopting a constitution that will be drafted by the proposition made by all representatives of the population, of the Cameroonian population.
Yes, and you see the dialogue will take a process of going down to the subdivisions, to the divisions.
We take all the time.
And then after that, talk about Sovereign National Conference. There's going to be a referendum.
To finally adopt the constitution.
Some persons would want to know what you have done so far to merit their confidence to manage state affairs as President of the Republic.
I've done a lot. Firstly, I would say in the private sector, as a consultant, I'm an engineering, chemical engineer. But as my profession, I am an auditor, I've been advising governments and industrial and oil and gas companies for almost 15 years, working on complex projects in Central Africa, specifically in Gabon and Chad. I have a strong ideas of how you need to optimize public expenditures in the context of crisis like in Cameroon. I've been working, as you said, alongside many political leaders. I think I've learned a lot. Excuse me. And now I have the convictions. I have the skills. I have, I would say, the strong belief in the capacity or the capability of our generation to build by its own the Cameroon that we are advocating for. And I'm strongly rooted in African tradition that helped me understand all the specificities of all the components of our population.
You may correct where I go wrong. Let me just read what I know about you. For those of you who are watching and are wondering why he wants to manage Cameroon, what he has done so far, I know that professional and business career, he began his career as an auditor in the oil and gas department at Cameroon Audit Council, serving in that role for over 5 years. He joined his father's engineering firm, Afric Genesis, as Director of Operations in 2016. He was appointed Director General of Sadou Souk.
Yeah.
Yes, Société Africaine de Distribution Sucrière in September 2022, an agro-industrial company focused on sugar production and distribution. Politically, he presided over the Association of Cameroonians in Quebec City, 2008, 2009. Yeah. As a student, he co-founded the Weekend des Étoiles, a highly popular event uniting Cameroonians in Canada. He authored Mes rêves de jeunes, that is le Cameroun des 50 prochaines années, in 2011. That is projecting his vision for the country up to 2060. That was in 2011. He was already dreaming what he wants to see this country look like in 2060. He served as executive secretary of the Patriotic Pan-Africanist Party, MP3, Mouvement Patriotique pour la Prospérité du Peuple, established in 2018 and legally recognized in 2023. He played a key role in the Now movement 2027-2028, 2017-2018, coordinating the political programming of Barrister Akere Muna's movement in 2018 presidential elections. So this, I don't know. There are others I have not mentioned.
I think you talk about most of them. Cameroonian can find a lot of things online talking about me. As you said, I've been involved in politics for 19 years now. I've been in the private sector for 15 years. I know how to manage complex organizations, specifically in the context of crisis. And I think that Cameroon now needs a new face, needs a new political leadership embodied by someone who know how to manage organizations, who believe in our country, who believe in our future, who believe on the capacity of our generation to take ownership of our destiny. And I just want to remind our brothers and sisters that in the beginning of the 20th century, Rudolf Valamain-Gabel and those who fight against the German administration, they were under 40 years old. Ruben Umyobe and those of the UPC, John Gufoncha, all those who got involved to have an independent and unified Cameroon was also young people. So youthness is not a symbol of incapacity to hold political leadership. In the case of Cameroon, is the proof that by being young, we have the courage to take difficult decisions, and now is the time for our country to take difficult steps. It
is true that many persons joined the program late, but Dr. Teke, writing from Boya, says, good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm watching from Boya. Please, can the presidential aspirant throw light on his intended foreign policy, looking at the heavy hand of foreign enterprise influencing politics and policy that leaves Cameroonians poor?
I think I talked about that.
Yes, you talked about
the fact that we should have a strong economic ecosystems owned and led by Cameroonians. We are open to every investors in our country. We need to build strong partnership, mainly in priority with African countries. But we are open to work with anyone. But we just have to make sure that the interest of our people come first.
Okay. And we are living a time where the respect for the Constitution is very, very limited. Cameroonians, both private sector or public sector authority, or not, have very little respect for the law. And how do you make sure that we respect what the law says in Cameroon?
This will be the architecture of our Constitution first. And as I said, the equity you need to build between the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary system. You asked me beginning this conversation what I meant by liberating Cameroon, and I said to you that I mean giving back the power to the Cameroonian people. We should decide to take back our power and to build a constitution that will make sure that at each level we have a counterpower that can make sure that the Constitution is fully respected. So it's our turn to make the right decision. I think that we have an occasion on October 12th to change the dynamic of our country, we should be enough courageous not only to vote, but to defend our vote and to put in power people who think that Cameroon is firstly the Cameroon for Cameroonians and not the Cameroon for a small group of people who took over our country.
Now, you talked about downsizing the government structure because you want to scale down on our expenditure.
Yeah.
But now, do you also think there are some institutions that are wasteful to the government, which if you take power, they will have to leave?
For sure. First, the Senate.
Okay.
In the federalism that I'm proposing, we have, in the macro regions, you will have an executive power with the president and the government and a local assembly. For now, is a regional council. I don't know if we keep the name. So you will only need to keep the link between the state and the region. The National Assembly will be enough. I don't think that an institution like that, the Senate, that cost us about 20 billion per year, doesn't have any meaning. For image, 20 billion per year is the cost to build a 20 megawatt hydroelectric barrage. So I think that we need to have strong priorities. For the next 7 years, the priorities will be to build the infrastructure that makes sure that we can raise the standard of life of our brothers and sisters in Cameroon. And for that, all those institutions that are not useful, we need to be removed.
Okay, they are going to be removed. We have so many questions, sir. Unfortunately, we are not going to have time to go through most of them. Good evening, sir. I'm a student from the University of Chang. I wish to ask Mr. Hiram what is his intention on the exploitation of iron ore in Cameroon. I'm sure this should extend to our mineral resources.
That's what I just said. You cannot have a country that is so much rich and people that are that poor. It doesn't have any sense. And the only way is to ban the exploitation of our raw materials, iron, gold, diamond, cobalt and everything, and to build strong mining industries in Cameroon. I think that all our regions have specific mining riches that can help us being a strong economy on the continent. Okay. So our resources are meant to raise the level of life, the quality of life for Cameroonians.
We are unfortunately going to be ending at this juncture, and so many persons have expressed their desire to join your movement, and they are asking for a contact number. So I'll just say that for those who may want to get in contact with them, just write me after this program. I'm going to share their link with you so that you just click to the link and join and continue this conversation with Mr. Hiram Samuel, who is the youngest candidate for the 2025 presidential elections that are going to be taking place in Cameroon on the 12th of October this year. Thank you very much for accepting to come and talk to our audience this evening.
Thank you for inviting me. Just want to say that the political program, the detailed political program will be available
on Friday.
On Friday, we will have a press conference in Yaoundé presenting specifically. You asked a lot of questions about how we can finance our reforms, and I think that Cameroonians will have all the answer. Thank you for all those who took the time to listen to me. This election is not only about me, not only about the candidate, it's about the Cameroonian people. And I hope that we take the decision to take back our power and to build a strong Cameroon that will preserve the upcoming generations.
Thank you for coming, and to all of you for watching. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.